Hello everyone, and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is a series we're going to talk a little bit about and touch base upon various mythological beasts, beings, and the like pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying that I am not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize in advance. And today I wanted to talk about the Amaroq. And the Amaroq is essentially this gigantic wolf that comes from Inuit religion, and the core premise and the core stories behind the wolf is that the Amaroq is out in the wilds trying to stalk and devour any person foolish enough to hunt at night. So essentially it is the enemy of nocturnal hunting, but also solitary hunters, so try not to hunt alone. Now, beyond that, the true origins of this idea of the Amaroq may have come from ancient Inuit tales when they did coexist during the time when the original dire wolves existed before they went extinct. Of course, now we have a few dire wolf pups, probably actually getting a little closer to being full grown now, but that's another story for another day. But back towards the Amaroq, this particular creature had its stories documented in the early 19th century by a Danish geologist and a Greenlandic scholar. His name was Hendrik Johannes Rink, and in his tales that he was gathering about the lore, particularly with the Inuit peoples, he mentions that particularly the Greenlandic Inuits use this kind of wolf, the Amaroq, and the term for the Amaroq to identify a specific legendary wolf. While other peoples from the Arctic area, they can use and will use the word Amaroq to describe just any old wolf. So there is a little bit of distinction there. Now, Rink also documented a couple of specific stories pertaining to, again, this legendary Amaroq, and one of which is talks about a boy, and this particular boy was persecuted. He was born physically stunted, and he sought out help because he wanted to increase his strength. And so he calls out to the Lord of Strength, and there, lo and behold, the Amaroq appears and begins to wrestle with the boy. And I guess this particular wrestling match was so jarring that a number of the boy's bones fall out of him. Now again, this is one of those kind of fun, almost fairy tale-like stories. So after the boy's, this selection of bones fell out of him, the Amaroq actually releases the boy and tells him that it is that set of bones that kept him and prevented him from increasing his strength, and that if he wanted to get strong, all he has to do is come back every day and the wolf would help him get stronger. So the boy listens to the Amaroq, and every day he came and wrestled with the wolf. And this continued until his strength intensified to the point where he could take on and defeat 3 large bears simultaneously. So massively strong individual by the end of the story. And because he gained that much strength, in the end, that boy ended up gaining the esteem he so wanted from his home village. Now, there's another story about the Amaroq, which is a little more dire. And in this story, there is a man mourning a loss of a loved one. And he goes out into the woods and finds the Amaroq's den and sees her pups. And don't know exactly why, but he decides to kill all the wolf pups. Now, the Amaroq returns, and the man flees and goes into hiding and watches the Amaroq searching for her pups. And when the wolf cannot find her young, she runs over to this edge of a lake and kind of pretty much dives in and pulls out a humanoid form from the waters. As soon as that happens, the man who caused all this trouble collapses, and the Amaroq calls out and pretty much tells the person that he's being punished. And it is actually his soul that the wolf pulled out of the water. So he separated the soul from the human's body as punishment for slaying her pups. So that's another story of the Amaroq, which is kind of eerie and interesting. Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please post them in the comments below or reach out to me on any of my social media. And until next time, everyone, Skull.